Hello and welcome to St. Louis on Stage this week, where we celebrate the people, productions, stories, opportunities, and ideas that keep St. Louis theater alive. As always, we invite you to visit stlouisonstage.com for the latest in local theater, whether you're an actor updating your resume, a company building its team, a director seeking collaborators, or a patron looking for the next great show. St. Louis on Stage helps our community be seen, discovered, and connected. Please take a moment to like and subscribe and select the notification bell so you'll always know when the latest episode drops. Our first guest is Brad Slavik, the president of First Run Theater Board of Directors. Brad is an actor, director, producer, playwright, designer, and musical director. And welcome to the show, Brad.
Hello. Yeah, it's one of my better photos.
Yeah. Always better to put the best foot or face forward. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That and it also actually looks like me right now.
All right. Right. That is not always the case.
No.
Not always the case. Pick the flattering one from 20 years ago. All right. So thanks for joining us on the show, Brad.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Our next guest is the playwright of Tenn, Aaron Scully, who wrote First Run Theater's production of Tenn. Aaron is an associate professor of theater at University of Central Missouri. He holds a PhD in theater studies and has associations with the Kennedy Center College Theater Festival and the Association of Theater in Higher Education. Aaron's plays have been produced around the country. And Aaron, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it.
So glad to have you. So glad to have you. And next, we have Matt Newlin. Matt is performing the title role in Tenn and is a graduate of Missouri Fine Arts Academy. Obviously, that was not actually a photo of Matt, but that is the character that Matt plays in the show. Yes. Okay. So what I would love to hear from whoever would like to start, how did this all get started? How did Aaron's play, how did you decide to perform this at
Okay.
You, yeah.
All right.
How did it come to your desk?
Every year, First Run accepts submissions for both full length, one act, and 10-minute plays. Okay. And Aaron's was in with the full length category, what we call main stage. When we perform at the Kransberg Black Box, we do that 2 times a year. That's what we call our main stage part of the season. So he was amongst the other, I think it was 30 odd scripts, mixture of one act plays, which say run about an hour or less, and some full plays, which will run over that time. And we selected 4 of them. And then what we do is we hold a not a staged reading, but a reading with actors from around the St. Louis area. And we bring them together in our reading festival. And then we read each of the plays with an audience, get feedback with the audience and also with our board members. And then at the end of that reading festival, the board votes on what productions to fill in what slots. We happen to have, actually, this year we happen to have the 2 main stage full plays, which is Tenn by Aaron, and also another one called Seal Skin by Jack Bushnell. But there was also a one-act play that was outstanding. And we didn't have a good enough one-act play to match with it. Then we basically noticed it was only a half hour long. So we decided we are going to produce that too, and we're going to produce that during our 10-minute play festival.
Oh, right, because it's on.
Considering the 10-minute play festival, this is the 20th anniversary of the festival, and we're actually going to be running 3 weekends, 4 performances each weekend, which normally we don't do. So we're going to run 2 nights repertoire and probably do a total of 12 plays. And that one, Street Scene, is what the play was called. That will get performed too. So out of the 4, we selected 3.
Gotcha. And And first run's done this, did you say 20 years?
We've been around since performing since 2023, so this is our 23rd year.
Wow, fantastic. And Aaron, how did you hear about it to submit your play?
Just from Play Submissions Helper, I think, is
really?
the software that I use to look at all the submissions. That's usually where I find some. I might have come across it some other way. The play was developed at the Confluence at the St. Louis Shakespeare Festival.
Right.
So St. Louis has been very good for this play, which has been great. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And I just submitted and was great. It's always wonderful news. Lots of rejections in playwriting, so it's always great to get
I hear you.
positive reaction. Not only one, but then the following one for the actual production. So
right, that's magnificent.
So after the reading, so yeah, it's very exciting, especially for this play. I really like this play, and I'm really proud of it. So I'm glad that they did it.
Yeah. Okay. So Matt, how did you hear about it? What got you to audition? Because I believe you haven't acted professionally for a while anyway.
It's been a while. I actually haven't acted since right after high school, so it's been 25 years. And this was an incredible experience to come back in this way, to be a part of a world premiere. But I have been wanting to get back into acting for a little while now, a couple of years, and this year finally had the freedom and flexibility in my job, and a ton of support from my wife, who said, you need to go do this. And so I thought I would start doing some audition and do some small parts here and there. And then this opportunity came up, and it was just too good to pass up. The company has been fantastic. Julie, terrific director to work with. So it's been an amazing experience to get back into acting. And again, to be a part of something brand new has just been something I never thought I'd get to do, but it's been really fantastic.
Right. Originate a role. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Never thought I would say that, but it's very cool.
All right. So, Brad, the idea of at least doing a staged reading rather than, or a table read at least of the plays is a great idea, to actually hear the voices. To it's just never the same in your head. And each person,
Right.
yeah, and everybody brings something to it different, because they see something you may have never seen, because we're different people, which is why plays are so fascinating to see again and again. An excellent performance can be very different just by the takes on the character. So what about this play do you think drew people to vote for it as one of the best?
It was a very interesting story. Even the jumping around the way it does in the timeline worked very well. Dialogue was wonderful. Dialogue was absolutely wonderful. All of the characters come out like very well. They're nice, fully rounded. Communication between them, there's conflict in almost everybody, as only happens in a theater company or with producers.
Right.
And the writing is just superb. I just hope we do it justice. We are taking a little longer with the scene changes than I would like, but the play itself comes across as is. That's what basically attracted us. It caught our attention like immediately during the readings, and you are right. Readings are very important. You can read a play one way in your mind, and then you hear it read, and all of a sudden, oh, wait a minute.
Right.
Wait a minute. Does the dialogue really work when spoken?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then also what's different is when you actually perform it. But the reading is a good indication.
Yeah, fantastic. And yeah, I completely agree. I always think theater is literature on its feet, but once it gets on its feet, it's a whole different beast. Yeah, entirely. Aaron, so you had the story, you knew what these characters did, but I thought some of the relationships and some of the interpersonal relationships and the conversations, and going through history, going back a ways, it's not like they text to each other when they were thinking of anything. How did you connect the characters? And I thought there was a lot of humor that felt like two friends go, infighting, not like friends do, like dude, rather than actually attacking and arguing in the same way. Even though, yeah, there are moments when it did grow, but it all grew out of relationships. And how did you find that process, and how did you flesh out the story?
So I've written a few historical fiction plays, and I had a professor mentor once tell me, when you're writing historical fiction, or maybe this was a screenwriter, that not to feel so beholden to the facts that you can't be creative. Right. And so really what I did is through my research, I captured a few moments that I thought would work well as far as the conflict, and really researched the relationships. The one moment that really inspired me, besides the fact that Tennessee Williams is just such a fascinating character that I haven't ever really seen on stage that much, or depicted on stage, is that, the legend of Lorette Taylor being drunk 90 minutes before the show. So not to give away anything in the play, if you have, those of you that haven't seen it. Well, so, there's some different tellings of that story. But I thought that was kind of where I was like, that would be an interesting moment to explore. And then, so I just kind of went through the history and thought about framing it like the Glass Menagerie. If you notice, the play is framed like the Glass Menagerie is, with the opening monologue and the ending monologue, and the monologue in between. And then just pick those moments. And some of them are a little more creative than others. Some of them really happened, some of them didn't.
Right, of course.
So that type of thing. So, and then just really exploring the conflict in each scene, and what the characters are seeking, and going step by step. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, because it's always about what the character wants, and that. And I thought that was within there. Matt, how about? I'll bring up some of the photos of the production, and can you tell me about how some of those relationships in the different scenes brought out more of Tennessee Williams than just, well, obviously this is supposed to be what Tennessee Williams played, but I thought there was so much of the relationships between Tennessee Williams and the people around him was fascinating. How did some of that come out? Because I know you talked about the Easter eggs and some of the things that you found within the script, which I very much appreciated, Aaron, as it went through. There was a lot of stuff that was, it drew you in and into that life, and
Yeah, it does. It's definitely a play, a script that you will get more out of with repeat viewings, repeat reading. There are so many Easter eggs, little references to previous scenes or future scenes, ties to real events. And the cool thing with us as a cast is we didn't start to discover those until just recently, because, when you rehearse a play, one night you rehearse scene 5 and 6, another night you rehearse scene 2 and 7. And so you're not connecting all the pieces as a group. And it wasn't really until we started to get into tech and dress rehearsal where we started to connect, like, he's using the same word again, or he's using this in this cadence in threes. And we as a cast started to really gel and see how the characters have to connect, because, like with Tennessee Williams, the language is so important, the word choice is so important. So it's a play that people are going to get a lot out of. The more they read it, the more they see it. And what's also been fun is the cast, we're all doing our own historical research. And so Kyle, who plays Donald Wyndham, is reading some autobiographies about Donald. I'm obviously reading and watching everything about Tennessee Williams I can. Dorothy, who plays Lorette, has done some deep research on that, the 90 minutes to open. And so we're all bringing our own personal interpretations, but all these cool historical facts and tidbits we're finding that, again, are also coming out of the script. So it has just been a ton of fun for us as a cast to discover things individually and then together.
Right. Yeah. Magnificent. Because I really enjoyed it. And I want to go back to you, Aaron. I'm trying to think. The character who plays the director in the play. I did
Eddie
not.
Dowling. Eddie Dowling.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Brad or Matt, if you knew this prior to it. I didn't know the impact he had on Tennessee Williams' career and his passion for this play. I mean, I found that fascinating. I thought it was played well and written well.
Yeah, all that is true too. That he gave up a lot to do the play. He was working on another play, gave up that salary, put everything he had into it, and really, really believed in it. And that's one of the other things that drew me to wanting to write the play is, as a theater artist and a theater teacher, I really wanted to write something that was a little as an ode to artists. And when you get together and believe in a script so much and put so much time and effort into it, and just the beauty of that, of artists coming together and believing in something and creating something, and it can be magical, like the Glass Menagerie. And I just want to thank you, Matt, for what you just said, that you made a playwright very happy to hear you talk about the script like that.
No, I mean, you've made this actor and 5 other actors very happy too. I mean, we just have so much fun with it. And again, there's little things we still discover. And, it's the toughest part about rehearsal has been, we want to be so honest to the script and to the words. And so it's like doing Mammoth. It's like, no, we have to say yeah here. And then this time it's yes. And this time he says, all right. And this time he says, okay, because it matters and it's so important. And we can feel it. I think the audience gets it, how much time Aaron has really put into this, both the historical accuracy, which is obviously there, but just the love of the art, like you just said. I mean, it comes out of it. And then as a, high school theater nerd, it just reminds me of like why I love doing this, why I wanted to get back into it. And I think that's why audiences are really liking it too.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, and then piggybacking on that, Brad. So, obviously it was Eddie Dowling. There was a lot of heart in that. I mean, you can't do this industry truthfully without a lot of heart. And of course, you're a multi-billionaire now from having first run theater. I'm sure. So, what is the passion that drives you to, let's find another show? Without you, Aaron's show wouldn't be on, at least not here and now in this time and place. So one of the magics of theater is that it's here and it's gone. Somebody else will have to pick it up and carry that, again, for people to enjoy this script. What drives you to, do this, besides, of course, the wealth?
Yeah, wealth, sure. All right. Well, what drives me? If you want to hear the true story, I was talked into this.
All right, Aaron, take notes. You might have to write your story next.
I was talked into this, joining the company about 23 years ago to replace. I was an actor's replacement, and then. The founder was Dr. Don Weiss, and I like videotaping performance if I can get that. So I happened to do, and this was the very first production that First Run did. And he asked me about that, and he had me do some more. And says, okay, I did a few more. Then he had me join the board, and then he took me aside one day and said he was going in for an operation, and if anything happens to him, he's already talked to the board. He wants me to take over. He says, Don, don't do that. Now, come on, you're going to be okay. And of course, he didn't. And I was stuck with it for 10 years, keeping it. Now, usually the founder of a theater company, if something happens to him, usually the main story for all of these is that the theater company eventually dies.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. I made him a promise, and so I kept the thing going. Now, I was like an actor for years, St. Louis, and with the semi-professional theater and etc. Set designing I kind of fell into because there were times the set needed to be designed, and thanks to my father, I'm kind of trained as a kind of a carpenter and a draftsman. So that took care of that.
Only have to last for 3 days, so
Yeah.
or 6 weeks, but whatever.
Mhm. So learned that. I had to learn sound design. I'm a musician and a composer. That was simple. I
Right.
knew how to combine sounds. I've written. What's that?
Nothing. Sorry,
Okay. I've written
my
tons of.
computer is doing stuff on its own.
I've written tons of music for our past shows and all that. So it took me 10 years finally to get somebody else to take over, and I just stepped back in the board. Also because apparently I'm good at writing for grants, which is the absolutely least thing I like.
Skill you don't want, but you need. Yes.
Yes. And then I did really good for about 6-7 years, and it turns out because of moving and health reasons and things like that, we lost several board members for about 6 months or so ago, including the president, and I was asked to come step up again. Now, as to me selecting, no. I have nothing to do with selecting any of the plays. I ran the what's called the reading committee. This is how it gets selected, in that the reading committee actually selects the plays. They're blind submissions, as Aaron notices, because he had to strip out everything from it.
Gotcha.
I just coordinate everything. I do not vote. I have no say whatsoever in it, except as one of many people at the very end when we finally see the show. So no, I did not select it. That's not my job. I would have. I mean,
Right.
you definitely had my vote for this show. But what's my passions? Because I'm a creative artist, and this is my basic outlet right now. There's not exactly a whole lot of great roles for older actors like myself. How many times do they do Cat on a Hot Tin Roof for me to do Big Daddy again and
Right.
again?
It's true. It's true. It's true.
So it's just there. That's it's over the years. It's a habit. I do it, and I happen to be apparently good at several things. And the playwriting, you can thank First Run for that, because there comes a point when you do with these new plays, you come across a few and say, I can do better than that.
Right.
Notice though, I've only had like one short play ever produced. My first run, so maybe I can't.
Maybe. But I mean, but your heart has to be in it. You can't just do this because.
Right, I can't drop it. I've got to make it succeed. I got to keep it. I promised to keep the company running, and I am. I've succeeded. We've been around with 23 years, which absolutely astounds me.
Right, and I think it's magnificent. And gives an avenue for actors and obviously playwrights. So
Directors too. For the Spectrum, we like to take on at least one brand new fledgling director who's never directed before, and marry them up with, because we usually do 2 directors, with a more experienced one.
Oh, that's when, and mentor them to bring them up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. So, Aaron, how about writing is kind of a solitary process, a little bit different.
It is.
What drives that in you? Like, what makes you go, I think I need to spend a lot of time working on this and doing all this research and writing something that may never see the light of day, but you're still driven to it anyway.
Yeah. Writing is hard. It is, some people find it a lot easier than I find it to sit down and work on something. I have to be really sure about something that I want to write before I sit down and write. I think a lot about the plays before I write them. I mean, I've written lots of 10-minute plays, lots of one acts. And I've had a lot of luck with getting pretty much everything, at least one production, or staged reading, or a reading at a conference of some sort or something like that, at least. So I've been able to hear it out loud. I think as a playwriting teacher, it's important for me to keep writing. We're in a very strange time with playwriting now, with the advent of artificial intelligence, and what its impact is going to be on playwriting for the theater. that's one of the things that I'm thinking about a lot. But I write for production. I want to see my plays produced. I love theater. I'm really drawn to. I'm an actor as well, and I'm drawn to uh, the direction and the acting and the set design, just the whole thing. I think it's one of the reasons why I liked writing this play so much, is just because it celebrates all of that. I would have liked, thinking about, there's some references to like the lighting designer, I think to Joe Melsner in the play, that Eddie calls out to him. So
Yeah.
So things like that I wanted to do. So always writing with the thought of how's this going to be on stage. So
Right. And then, story about putting a play on stage and the writing process.
Yeah.
So I
Get
can
meta. Yeah. Let's get meta.
Very meta. Yes, absolutely. And then Matt, for somebody that brings those words to life, what a fascinating reintroduction to the stage.
Yeah, scary, really, really scary. A lot of intimidation, but it was so funny. It actually was also the perfect, because the insecurities and self-doubt that I was having taking on this role is everything I was reading about Tennessee Williams, and that comes out in the play. And so it was actually really interesting to be, I'm here in my basement. This is where I did a lot of my rehearsal and practices. I would be reading things about Tennessee Williams, like, that's exactly what I feel right now. And so Aaron just mentioned meta. I'm like, this was a super meta performance, because there were a lot of similarities. But it was intimidating, but it was also fun, because there is so much to him. There's the accent and the dialect and the way he spoke, the way he presented himself. But then there's also just this deep, real person. Tennessee Williams was a conflicted person. He was not an easy person to understand. And that was fun to play around with, and especially to interact with other characters who knew him in different ways, relating to Donald, his close friend, versus his agent, Audrey Wood.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun to play those different sides of him, because the more you read, the more you watch. He was a very interesting person, and it was fun to bring him to life, and to, like I said before, just keep discovering little things, keep discovering little in-jokes, little Easter eggs, that just made it such a dynamic character, and all of the characters. It was just really fun to watch.
Right. Not just play a fascinating character, but the words and the things that brought him to life. Obviously, even from the read, Brad, you knew this play belongs out there. And Tennessee Williams, undeniable, his talent is insane, and his struggle in life, which is, there's so many stories that you could go about him growing up, which he invariably sort of wrote about in this play, or in the play that this play is about.
And a lot of that comes across. There's all these little references, even though it's not the main focus of the story. You get those references to his life. That's why it's such a great piece of historical fiction and autobiographical writing, because it is all the pieces that it's not the main focus, but you get those insights. And again, I think, and I'm so glad Brad in first run put this up on its feet as a stage reading, and then it ended up getting picked, is because it does need to be heard out loud. You can read it, but until you hear actors bouncing off each other and getting the pattern, getting the rhythm, getting the speed, which we all had fun finding together, that's where the play really lives. And it's hearing those interactions, and the way Tenn speaks to one character versus another, the way Eddie and Lewis speak to each other. You just get all this great interaction, and that's why theater is fun, because you get to hear it live, and it just works.
And it's real.
It's real.
Yeah, you're not just saying words, you're living.
Mm-hmm.
We're watching that. So if I could just ask each of you, is there anything you'd want the audience to leave with as they leave the show? What would that be? Brad, you want to offer something?
Well, that they have seen something new. You don't have to continually go see Annie every time. See something new. There are other writers out there, and they're all, now we only do Midwestern writers, but there's a lot of those.
Absolutely. Great. That's a great comment. Aaron, what do you think? What would you like them to leave with as the author?
I think, like I referenced before, just to feel like it's a celebration of art, and also, learn something about history, and Tennessee Williams and the Glass Menagerie and all those characters. But I think in the end, to enjoy themselves, of course, but feel like they just saw a group of people, a group of artists celebrate a group of artists.
Yeah.
So.
Fantastic. Matt, leave us off with something here.
Yeah, similarly, I just hope it gets people excited about live theater, going and seeing more live theater, getting curious about Tennessee Williams, getting curious about other playwrights, but just getting excited about the art of theater. It's a play about putting on a play, about loving plays, and hopefully it gets people curious and going out and seeing live shows.
Yeah, and go see another play. Fantastic. Thank you all so much. This was super interesting and exciting to talk about. I really enjoyed the show, as I told Aaron in the pre-show. I was just rooting. I was rooting for these characters, and the ending, but I was rooting for them amidst it all, and that you're in it. You're 100% there. So thank you all so much. Don't forget so everybody needs to go to First Run Theater, find this. It's this weekend is the final weekend. I'm correct. Yep. Go see that show. Well, this has been another fantastic episode of St. Louis on Stage this week. I want to thank our guests for generously giving their time, and I want to thank everyone who's watching, listening, and supporting St. Louis Theater. Until next time, stay curious, stay connected, and hey, go see a play.